So, all right, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in. Welcome to today's sessions. I know we're having our class by 9, but it just had to happen this week. So, good evening, guys. If you can hear me, please go ahead to drop a message in the chat session. Then you can also go ahead to drop a message in the group so that others can join this session as well. We also have your all right, so you can hear me. Thank you, Desire. We also have your instructor on the call. Um, on the call, he goes by John the UXer, but his name is also John Taiwo or Kende Taiwo, and he is a UI UX designer. I don't think I will refer to him that he's more of a product designer, if you ask me. And then he works as Vend HQ. Hi, John. Thank you for making it this evening.
Yeah, thank you. The pleasure is mine.
All right. So we've had John here before and he's coming back again. So thank you once again. It's good to have you on this call. This is another cohort and you're here again one more time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. So I do not take much of your time. The class is all yours. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. So for this today's class, we'll be going into visual design, right? Talking about basically how do designers work on UIs, right? How do you create experiences? I'm sure most have gone through the previous processes, right? um, that's from the starting of the research phase and other phases. So right here, we touching the visual design phase. As we move on from this class, after today's class, we're moving on to how we can create interactive prototypes and then do all those fun stuffs, right? So one thing I want you to know is that as a designer, you are a creator, right? And whatever you create is what users are going to interact with. So the WhatsApp you know of today, the Facebook, the Instagram, the LinkedIn, they were created by designers. Designers set the pace, set the direction, right, of how this product should go, and then engineers work on it, and then it comes to life. That's just like a summary of what happens, what goes into all these things. And I can tell you, um, coming as a designer is something that is very, very, very vital. So every part, for every startup, to every product, you always need a designer. Even if they say here and there, AI is coming, AI is doing that. As long as you know your game, right, AI cannot replace you. That's one thing for sure, right? I've learned so far. So I want us to sit back and there'll be time for questions. So what I'm not going, what we're going to do in this particular class is going to be very practical, right? Where I'm going to take you through, okay, how do we do stuff like this? How does designers come up with design? How do we come up with concepts, right? How do we pick up that process and then move on to start building things that people use, right? There's a process to these things. First, like I mentioned earlier, there's a visual design where designers come up with. Then at the end of the day, move it on to the engineers after review. So as a designer, your work will always be critiqued, right? Based on because it's something that is visual, right? Something that people can see. You need to ensure that one, it's not just visual appealing, it's not just visually appealing. Also, it also meets, it also addresses users' needs and pain points. That's a very good experience, right? You're not designing something that when someone touches it, or when someone touches the button or something, something breaks, right? Or something happens and it's not a very smooth experience. So yes, let's just get into it. So I'll be sharing my screen. Just let me know when you can see my screen. Just to confirm, how many minutes do I have for this class? Just to confirm.
You have 1 hour, but it
Sorry.
might exceed it. I say you have 1 hour, but I know there's a possibility to exceed it because of the class content.
Okay, yeah, sure, of course, of course. Okay, so share my screen. Just going to show you. So please let me know when you can see my screen. Share screen. Dun, dun, dun. Just have to share my entire screen. Sorry, hold on. Let me try to space this out. Okay. So can you see my screen now? Is it visible?
Yes,
Is my
it
screen
is.
visible?
Can see
Okay.
it now.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So moving into today's class, right? As a designer, there are some certain things that you need to actually know as designers, right? Who want to step into the design field. So there are different principles of design, right? One of them, you have colors. Now, colors are very, very important and vital. So this is going to be a practical class. So I don't want to bore you with slides and all that. But this is going to be practical. I want to just move very fast and just explain everything I need to explain here, right? So we have different principles of design, right? And they're not just cliche words; they are there to act as guidelines to how designs are being made, right? One, you have colors, right? Colors give direction. Colors bring beauty. Colors bring they bring clarity to certain context, right? Take for instance, for us in Nigeria, green, right, represents green has its own meaning, just like different colors, right? You have different brand colors. You have MTN that has yellow. You have Carrywise, Piggyvest that use blue. You have green. Nigerian flag is green, right? You have red, right? And all those things. They all have their different color theory, color backgrounds, right? And they all have different meanings, You get. So for each of these particular brands, there is a particular meaning attached to each of these colors. So it's not just people are not just picking colors just for show, but there's a meaning behind those things, right? For green, it stands for nature, for for growth, right? Blue stands for calmness, and there are different meanings. You can just check that up, right? That's color. Color is one. Secondly, you have typography. Typography is just talking about like just just imagine like a handwriting, right? Your handwriting today. Typography is just like handwriting of the web, handwriting of whatever device you're interacting with. Now, how sleek and how clear that particular typography is very, very important. And let me show let me show what I'm trying to say. Now, if you look at this, right? If you look at this is a particular landing page. Now, if you look at this, you see that this is what we call font weight. We have font weight, right? We have font sizes. Font size is talking about, so let me just, so this is Figma. Sorry to I didn't explain that. This is Figma. Figma is a tool that is being used by most designers. So initially, before, we usually have Sketch, usually have Adobe XD, right, and Figma. But now Sketch has left the picture. Adobe XD is kind of on the background, but then Figma is like the top. So there are other ones that are also coming up too, but Figma is the main for me, right? And because they usually come up with different updates every year, and on different updates where you basically do stuffs, right? Right, they introduce different, what do you call it? Different features. They will introduce AI as well into their workflow. So yeah, it's a very good one. Now, what was I saying? So this is Figma, right? I'm going to just show you a little. I'm going to do a little demonstration, right, before we end the class. But let me just take you through these principles I'm talking about. So yeah, we can ask questions. Please note your question after the class, where you can ask your question so that, and I also try to ensure that I leave some more time for questions. So please note down your questions, or you can drop them in the chat. So when I'm done, I'll just be able to read them. Right. Now I mentioned something. I talked about colors. Right. So colors give the give or the tone of the particular brand. Right. So there are different reasons. There are different color gives a particular emotion, right? It gives a particular emotion to the brand. We're talking about green. I mentioned nature, right? Green energy. We're talking about yellow. Yellow is the sun, right? That's energy, right? And different color um theories and different color psychology involved in that. Now talking about typography. So typography is more like just talking about the text, right? That's but then how well or how good your text looks is also affect the overall experience. So now you as a designer, your job is not just to design fancy UIs. Yes, you may start out with that at the beginning, designing fancy stuffs, but at the end of the day, your goal as a designer is to ensure you are bringing you are you are solving the user's problem, right? You are being user centric in the solution you are designing, and also you are also you are also bringing revenue for the business. So anybody that's going to hire you to do something is because they have seen a problem that they want to solve, that they know that will bring the money to them. So whatever you are doing has to ensure that it is converting, not just designing fancy UIs. It's also converting those particular customers, those particular users. Now, talking about font typography. Now, in typography, we have what we call fonts. Now, in fonts, we have what we call font sizes and font weights. Now, type. This is a type. A type is a type is slash grotesque. Slash grotesque is a type. These are types, right? When you now talk about font weight, that's talking about being regular, extra light, medium, semi bold, and bold. A type, people usually say, okay, people usually call it fonts, but that's not actually the name. Font is not actually like, it's not actually called fonts. It's called a type, a typeface, right? Now, font weight, right, is the weight of just that particular type. It's not what we call font weight, right? So font weight can be extra light, regular, medium, semi bold, and bold. For engineers, as for developers, they have different names. They call it some call it 100, a 200, a 300, a 400, 500, or 600, depending on the type of the weight. But basically, you have, for you as a designer, this was just need to know. You have extra light, you have regular, you have medium, you have both semi bold, and you have bold, right? Now, those are like certain these are like things you need to know about the weight. Then now talking about the size. This is the font size, 24. But I increase it to 100. You can see it increases. Now the reason why this is scattered, right, is because why? the font height. Now, my font here is 100, my font size is 100, but then the line height here is 32, right? Because of this, you can see how very difficult it is for me to actually reach this particular thing that's in front of me. But when I increase it to probably 120, you see that it's readable, right? Although very long, but it's not. Yeah. So the font weight, right, the font height and the font size, they go hand in hand, right? And now for you to be able to create something very clean and something that appeals to someone, you have to ensure that there's clarity. You have to ensure that there is space in your work. Like your work is actually, there's a lot of enough room to breathe. Now, if you look at this between this particular typeface, so between this particular font and this one, you can see there's a space of 24 pixels. It's not jam packed. Imagine if it was 4, or if it was 0, it would be so jam packed, right? But allowing your design to breathe gives that uniqueness, right, and that simplicity to your designs, right? Now, also, so you can see there's a spacing. So I'm using a spacing of 20, I'm using this size of 24, but then my line height is 32. Now there's a calculation to this, right? Most times people do 24 times, they multiply their font height. They get their font height by multiplying the font size by 1.5 or 1.2. Use 36 or 1.2. So some people use 1.2, 24 times 1.2. Right, some use 1.2. Now for me, right, basically I really like know, okay, this is the typeface I'm very comfortable with. This is like the line height. So basically the what do you call it now? The trick, right, to getting better at design is to what? Is to be consistent and to keep on designing. For you to get better at design, for you to be able to create those better design you see out there, you need to be able to keep on designing and ensure you're consistent whatever you're doing. That way, you'll be able to train your eyes and know, okay, this is what works for me. People are saying, yes, this is the convention. There's nothing set in stone, right? So we may put it out there, oh, use this line, use this border, use this color, use this thing. But for you as a designer, based on the fact that you've trained yourself over time, right? You've done a lot of design so much that you're able to articulate, okay, this is what works for me, right? For some people, it's quite different. Everybody works with everybody is quite different, right? So you need to be able to, as a designer, the moment you are able to continue progressing, the moment you're able to continue growing and continue learning, continue designing, be able to understand and know, okay, this is why some things are, right? I'll also take you through how our designers get inspiration and then how you convert that into a design. Right. Now, so this is the hero image. So this is the hero, right? Where you have the hero text, you have the button, right? The CTA, that's the call to action, and then you now have some other what do you call it? Some other things that follow, and all that, and all that, and all that, and all that. Now this is a landing page, and this is the mobile view, right? Now for landing pages, right? So I'm just going to take them little by little. Okay, I'm not even done with the principles. Now, after you've talked about typography, you have layout. Now, this is a layout. There are different layouts as a designer that you might want to choose. Now, there are different layouts. There are some layouts. Okay, now this particular layout here is a layout in which in the hero section, the hero text, the text, right? The hero text are in the center. I'm sure you must have seen some that are by the side. There are some that are by this side, right? Those are layouts. Like layout is just talking about the arrangement, how you arrange your different UI elements into a way that is easy to read and is easy to understand, right? What people are coming to do when they are coming to interact with any products you worked on is that they want to just see, okay, what can I gain from this particular thing? Is it information or do you want to use it? So whatever you are building must provide information, one, and two, also must also be functional. Now, your GT Bank mobile apps, I'm sure some of you that are using GT Banks today find out that, oh, the app has changed. That app was designed by a designer that changed the interface, changed the overall experience, such that today it is quite different from what you usually experienced before. As that last year, I'm sure that was not the app you're using. That's changed. So also as a designer, your work keeps evolving. You might have worked on something today and you say, oh, I think it's okay. No, right? There's need for continuous iteration, need for continuous improvements. That's why I say that most applications, most of you that were using WhatsApp decades ago, you find out that, oh, WhatsApp has changed from what it used to be previously. It's now a different level, right? They've introduced different things, updates, they've introduced groups, communities, which was not there like many years ago, 5 years ago, right? That's just to tell you, okay, the power of creativity, the power of innovation, right? So let's move on. Now, I've talked about layout, right? layout that gives you the feel of that particular platform, that particular website, or that particular product. Now we also have spacing, right? Spacing is just talking about, okay, how talking about, so there's what we call white space. White space doesn't necessarily mean space. What that just simply means is that giving your designs enough room to breathe, giving what the product you worked on enough room to breathe. I'm sure if you see some clunked up products, to you to sound to look very, very awkward, right? But having that particular product there, where that is very, very clean and very easy to use. Take for instance your WhatsApp, your LinkedIn. You see, if you're interacting with some of these products, you find out that, oh, it's quite different from, it's quite um it's quite clean, and it's very much easier for you to understand, right? At the end of the day. So these are things that are very, very very necessary for you to understand as we go through this particular class. Now, if this is this particular landing page, let me show you the other one, right? Now, there are some people, right, that they basically kind of just use multiple fonts, multiple typefaces together, right? Meanwhile, it's always advisable to start with one before you are able to say you want to start using multiple typefaces. At least start with one first, and then from there now start moving on to using multiple typefaces. You're able to know how to use one very well. Then at the end of the day, it becomes easier to use. So yeah, you can see I'm using multiple two typefaces. This, right? This is Nohemi and this is Instrument Serif. There are two, and this is because these two typefaces go with each other. So you also have to know ensure that, okay, the two typefaces actually are in sync with each other. Not that you are bringing something that is totally off the chart. So let me say, take for instance this particular. Let's say I wanted to change it to something else, maybe something like this, right? You can see how there's no balance between these two typefaces, right? So it's not looking very, very, very good at all. So it's necessary you understand that. Yeah, and then you have this, and you have this, and you have this. Now let's just go into the main thing. So how do we start designing, right? Now I've mentioned some basic principles: layout, space. Spacing is just talking about the white space, like give your designs enough room to breathe. Imagine this was here, right? How now imagine how this would look like. It's just together with each other. There's no room for them to breathe, and it's just there, right? That would naturally look good. So that spacing sometimes gives your designs life, right? They can breathe, they can actually like look appealing, right? And so also colors, you also need to be able to know how to combine colors together, not putting green on on red, and then everything's just looking very, very awkward and very ugly, right? Very, very important to know how to balance your colors together. For best, I would always advise start with only one color. Don't try to combine multiple colors together. Start with only one color. Use that color to the next time. Okay, where you are, okay, you know that, okay, I understand how this color works. Yes, not everybody is good with colors, but also you can also learn. Start with one color. It can be a blue, a shade of blue, and that's why one thing you should always do as a designer is to always observe. As a designer now, you're someone who um are solving people's problem, right, which affect their feelings and their emotions. So everything you do, try to observe. You see a new landing page that comes up, or maybe you visit a landing page, maybe it's your somewhere, maybe like it's an application page or something, and you visit and you say it makes sense. Just bookmark it, go through the landing page, see, okay, what appeals to me here, what can I change here that will make it make sense. So you have to you observe even when you're on the road, observe posters, these things, we observe crafts, right? Not just looking in one way. Also, okay, no, I want to just be doing design, reading books. There are many ways you can get inspirations, right, from different things, from nature, right? Maybe by the color, maybe by a poster you see on the streets. Oh, I like how that person did that particular design. Maybe I can try to infuse that in my UI and see how that will look. These are the ways you get inspiration apart from traditional inspiration today. Right now, so let's just get into it. I'm just going to show you how this looks like. So today, designers basically have different sites they go for inspiration. So if we're going to, sorry, okay, let me even show you. Okay, let me just. So I'm going to just show you how designers get inspiration, and we can just move from there. Now, and I'm going to actually show you how I actually design one. So now let's go. First of them is Mobbins. Mobbins is yeah. Mobbins is a site where people get inspiration for mobile apps, right? Design inspirations for different applications that you know today, different applications. right? Most of them you find your screenshots on Mobins, right? So here you get, once you create an account, you're able to get Mobins, right? I think I should have an account, but we're going to go into that now. So yes, going to check for Mobins, right? mobbin.com. You're able to see different inspirations. Now let me tell you one secret. Now the limits to which you can innovate, the limits to your creativity is dependent on what you've seen. Now, if you have not seen a fine house before, let's say you live in the village, you've not seen a fine house before, you only think that, oh, the village, that this house I'm saying is the best house in the world, right? So the limit to your creativity depends on what you've seen. And what I'm trying to say here is that for you um to be able to innovate and think critically and be able to, okay, design beautiful UIs, you need to have seen those UIs. That's when you'll be able to say, okay, this person did it here like this, but why can't I do it this way to make it better? Right. And also one thing you also want to do is when you start replicating designs as a designer, always ensure to reference the original designs, right? You create a design, don't go and say it's my design. No, you are using someone's innovation and publishing it as yours. You just made it copy and paste, right? Now, what this copy and paste does, right? Like I said, you have to reference whoever you are designing, you are copying the design from. But what this copy and pasting does is that it trains your eyes visually to let you know how things actually work in the real world, right? It trains you to see, okay, this is how things. Okay, I will design this thing this way, and then at the end of the day, I shifted it this way. Okay, why did that person shift it like this? Okay, maybe because of this. Start getting that intuition, start getting that understanding, that knowledge that, oh, this is why this thing is this way. And then from there, it start affecting and start influencing how you design. Right. That is how you basically learn how to design. You learn to how to design by doing. Right. So that's Mobins. You can try to log in and see how that works. Let me go to dribble.com. Dribble is double B, sorry, triple B rather, triple B's, right? Now on Dribble, you're going to be having different variations of designs. There are designs that are branding, illustration, and like. What we are looking for is just product design. So go to product design. Product design encapsulates. So as a designer, you basically work on mobile apps, landing pages, web apps, even Watch OS, right? I'm sure you must have seen how Apple's Watch OS, right? But it was designed by a designer. So there's basically no limit to what you can actually design as a designer, right? You just need to just think about it. Now this is where designers get inspirations from, right? Pertaining to what they're working on. So take for instance, I want to work on a fintech mobile app, right? Let's just say I'll just search for fintech mobile app. You see different examples. Now for fintech, right, there are different categories as well. There's credits, there's cards, there is a remittance, international remittance, right? There is savings and investment, like your piggyvest. There's mobile banking, like your normal banking applications, right? Now, just need to just know what you're looking for based on what you're working on, right? Now, there are different types. Um, the different types of my network is not. Sorry, Amaka, can you confirm you can hear me, please? Just want to know if I'm still on. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
John, I can hear you.
All right. Because I saw my network is not really looking very well. All right. So yeah, so let's just look for one to just pick up. Mm, so let's look at this one. My network is really messing up. So while that is loading, so like I mentioned earlier, you basically get inspiration from different sites, right? And all that. So I've mentioned Mobbins, is Dribble. There's also Behance. So Behance is BEHBEHNCE.net. Right. So also you get a lot of inspirations, right? So and this is my own assignment for you guys, right? Go on any of these sites, pick up a design you like, and try to replicate it, right? Now it's you will not really it will not really be the best at that point in time, but from continuous improvement, consistency, you wanting to design and you wanting to like get better at this, I can assure you you get better at it. So let's start for mobile app design too here. So you can search for anything. I'm not searching for mobile app design. So it's bringing you recommendations. So let's search for UI UX, right? Um, oh, it's not bringing. Hold on, sorry. I just said about app designs interface. So you can see it's bringing out designs, right? Different designs. So this is usual fintech application that you know, right? You have a card, you have top up, you have this, you have that, you have this, you have that, right? That's the usual regular. So this is where you get designs from. So they want me to sign login. I thought I was logging here. But anyways, so yeah, that's it. Now let's just pick up a design that we want to work on. Want to look at. Let me pick up a design I want to look at, and then we'll just proceed from there. So I think I like this design, right? Um, yep, I think I like this design. So this is, so I'll say this is more like sending money and receiving money, right? Just pick up the design. So this is what we're going to do, just to show you how this works. Yep. All right. Before I proceed, I'll just show you. Um, so as a designer, I mentioned earlier, you can have access. You can be you can design mobile apps, web apps, right, and the likes. So this is mobile app basically, and then these are web apps. So web apps are like dashboards, right? So when I say web app, so take for instance, if you have a Piggyvest account or a Carrywise account, you will find out that you also have an account on the web. Apart from the mobile app that you use today, where you try to log in on maybe on Carrywise website or Piggyvest websites, right? You'll find out that oh, you also have a web account, right? That also has like is an account basically. So from there you'll be able to know that's what we're basically looking at. So these are dashboards, right? And now these things you basically learn how to design them as time goes on, right? Pick up first these mobile apps, try landing pages, then try web apps and see okay, how does this work actually work, right? What are the you can see how clean it is, but yet it also requires some level of details from you for you to be able to know how to design something like this, right? You need to be able to like be well grounded in um your layout, your typography, and your colors, right? You can see for me here, so yeah, this is one other principle we call hierarchy. Hierarchy is talking about okay, what information do I put first? What information should I make bigger for people to see? What information is more important? Now, for me as a designer, if you look at this particular card here, these particular cards, you find out that I'm making one smaller, one is bigger because my emphasis is not just on this one, it's on the bigger one. That is where I want people to see the most. One, and also that is what I want to catch the eyes of people. So for every designs, now that's why I mentioned something that as a designer, your work will always be critiqued, where you need to always be defending whatever you do. If you cross your eye, why did you do that? If you cross your T, if you dot your eye, why did you do that? If you cross your T, why did you do that? So there's always this kind of criticism, right? Asking questions. Okay, why was this done? So if you are just a designer, you're just trying to just do things and just do things because oh, I want it to be this way, right? You always get into trouble or you just get issues, have issues with people. So let's ensure that whatever you're doing, you're able to articulate your design decision, right? You're able to tell people, okay, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I feel this should be like this, right? And all that. So this is like I said, this is a web app dashboard where you can basically just um work on stuffs. Now let's go back there. We have a landing page. Sorry, we have a what do you call it? We have a mobile app to design. Now for so I want to pay attention. Now for mobile app designs, right? You have to use a mobile view. I click on F on my keyboard, or I just simply just come to um yeah, I click on F on my keyboard, right? Just to bring up this or I just simply just come to hold on, sorry. Okay, let me hide this. Come to this here, navigation, my button navigation, click on this and I click on frame. This is another time I use this particular um feature, but that's why. So I click on frame. When I click on frame, it shows this as well, right? Or I click on F on my keyboard. And once it shows that, I can decide to draw a frame, right? But that, what I want is a mobile frame. So I'll just click on that, click on frame, and then frame opens up. I can see phone, I can see tablet, I can see desktop. I click on phone. Now clicking on phone will show me different phone categories. Android, iPhone. For me, I like using iPhone because it works for me. Right. So I like using iPhone. I will choose the 390, right? Rename it to um mobile app. So what I want you to do, right? You can try a lot of things. And what you can try to do. So yeah, also I remember something. There's UI land. Yes, I think this is the best, one of the best that you can actually relate with. Yes, UI land. Just remembered now. Right. It contains more familiar products that you can actually look at. So let's search for, so you can see different categories, all bank, UI land or design, so you can check it out. So there's all bank, business, crypto, education, fintech, entertainment, food, games. Let's check bank. You can see GT Bank here, and you can see UBA. So this is the old GT Bank, right? So this has not been updated. This is old GT Bank. Let's try business. Let's see what is in business. This is Trello. This is Bumper. This is Adobe Reader, right? I don't even know Trello. I don't even know Trello. But Trello is a project management tool. Bumper is an e-commerce platform for businesses to be able to manage their stores and everything. So yeah, that's Bumper. Then there's crypto, there's family, there's Dex Screener, there's Phantom, there's Coinbase, there's Busha, there's Bundle, there's Roku, there's Accrue, and the likes. There's Flute Coins, right, and all that, right. So let's just look at let me pick Flute Coins and look at Flute Coins. Click on that. Now it loads up. You can see the UI. It shows you, like, gives you a complete structure or a complete walkthrough of the UI. Although it's not complete, I think I think you have to pay or something. You have to sign up, subscribe to view everything. But then you get a good number of screens to work with. Now, what I want you guys to do, right, especially this, come over to UI land, right? Try to look for your what do you call it? Try to look for your the popular applications. Try to look for your most frequent applications you use today and try to search and try to, like, okay, let me even try and redesign what this person has designed. Right. That way you know that, oh, I have this superpower as a designer to design stuffs. Now, as a designer, you're not just designing, but you're solving problems. That needs to be at the back of your mind. So, like I said, whoever is going to employ you or hire you has a problem wants you to help solve. Right. We just give you some flows and tell you, hey, figure it out. Your job is to think through on the process, on the flow. Now start picking up the what do you call it? Now start picking up the designs, right, and all that. But also note, I don't know, but this is actually very important. Before you actually start designing anything, first off, you need to sketch it down on paper. That's one thing you need to do, which is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable, right? You need every design you want to make, for every solution you want to profile, you want to solve, always ensure you draw a wireframe. Now, yes, there's wireframe. Maybe we'll say low fidelity, high fidelity, mid-fi, right? Now, let me just break it to you. Some things are just basically, um, um, I would like to say cliche things, right? Of recent, it's been a long time. I actually won't say I want to even create, maybe like say, okay, mid-fi design, right? What is more important is sketch out something. Basically, just sketch it out. Once I sketch out my book, the next thing is hi-fi, right? So there are processes and there are actually levels you have to get before you can even say you want to do that, right? Because first off, for me as someone, I'm someone who thinks about the flows beforehand. Like right in my head, I'm thinking about the flows already, and then I've mapped it out already. What I don't just is just sit down, draw it out, and then start designing straight up, because that's how I've been structured to think, wired to think based on years of experience. For you, someone who's starting out, what you need to do, have whatever thing you want to design, right? And basically, you basically interact with products today, so you should know the expected feedbacks. Now, take for instance, someone, let's say you want to submit a form, right? You click on submit. For you as a person, you have an expectation already that, oh, I click on submit, I'm expecting a feedback. Imagine you just submit and the button just disappears and that's all. It won't make sense to you, right? But you're expecting a feedback. Oh, your form has been successfully submitted. That is an experience. But when you are not designing fancy UIs, oh, the button should just disappear, right? That at the end of the day breaks the experience and it doesn't give the relax. It doesn't give that particular feel that that particular customer or that particular user is expecting. So for you as a designer, you should always have that expectation at the back of your mind. Okay, after this screen, what's the next thing? That should be how you think, basically. After doing this, what is the next thing? After I've done this, what's the next thing? Right? You're able to think miles ahead of the flow. That's what we call. I'm sure you must have taken through user flows already, right? And information architecture, how you structure, you create the structure of designs of your mobile apps, your websites, and then the flow. Now, for every mobile app you see today, there are different flows. There can be 1,000 flows. Take for instance, for your I don't know how many people use. Okay, let's just take for instance your OP. OP is very popular, right? So yes, let's search for OP here. OP is there. So you can see you'll be able to see like different flows in here. You can see, right? Because this is the old OP though, right? This is the old OP. But yet, right, like I mentioned something, you'll be able to see 1,000 flows inside a single product. And that's because a flow is just simply an action you take to get to a particular destination. So, first, a flow is I sign up and log into the dashboard. That's the flow. That's one flow. On that flow is I log in and buy airtime. That's the flow. On that flow is I log in and pay for electricity bill. That's a flow. And that flow is I log in and send money to OPay. On that flow is I log in and send money to GC Bank or something. That is a flow. So there are thousands of flows, right, inside a particular product. And that's why you as a designer, you have to think about everything end to end. After this customer does this, what's the next thing, right? There's expectations. And that's why also one other thing too also is that when you're designing, you need to also study the industry you're designing in. For fintechs, is trust is very important. That's why at the moment where that's why you find out that okay, when you press let's take once I want to transfer money to somebody, after entering the amount and you press continue, they don't just send the money straight, right? They give a confirmation screen to confirm you're the one sending this money. Even after you have confirmed, they say like to put your pin, right? Just to give that double assurance that oh, this person is the person doing this thing. And that's why, like I said, for the industry you're designing for, you have to ensure you have total understanding of that industry before you design for it. If you're designing for a payment industry, for a fintech industry, have a proper understanding, do your research. That's why design is not just about design. Yeah, sorry to shock you. Design is not, it's not about just designing flyers or designing something. You do your research first. After doing your research, you now come up with flows, come up with structure. Okay, I feel the home icon should be first, then maybe payments icon next, and then maybe okay, savings. If you look at OP screen, right, today, it's not loading. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but I don't let's just assume you can see this. So if you look at this, right, there's home, there's rewards, there's finance, there's cards, there's me. Now they have to come to like have a structure. That's like what we call an information architecture, like structure, basically structuring your information. Now there are a lot of information that there are a lot of things that OP can do. There are a lot of things that OP can do, but they have to structure it in a way that is easy for customers to access it. That is IA, that is information architecture, right? Structuring your information to ensure that it is easy for your users to find what they are looking for, right? That is IA. Then user flow is now talking about okay, what is the look, what's the experience like, right? For a particular, what's like a user journey when you want to perform a particular action. Okay, you want to buy airtime, what is the user flow like? End to end, that is the user flow, right? So you can see that every process has to be thoughtfully thought out. It's not just designing fancy UI. Oh, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that, right? That's why today you see many people applying for jobs today because and if you're using just dribble shots, it's not just enough, right? You need to show me your process. How do you think? That's one of the major questions that if anybody was to hire you today, that would ask you, okay, what is your process? It's a cliche word, what's the design process? But you've been able to think design. And one thing I also want you to understand is design process is not a straightforward thing. So it's not a one size fits all, right? It's not something that okay, it is fixed. Okay, it can only go through this way. No, design process is dynamic. So up to the point that some people even say today that it's not called design process, right? It's basically like how you basically approach problems. I think, for instance, for me, if I was saying okay, maybe I came in on a project at the point where I need to design, research has been done, everything has been done. That my design process is just to design and move and just ship. That is all, right? doesn't have I don't have to say, okay, I went back again to go and start saying, okay, I did this, I researched. People, someone has done that before. That's not needed. There are also some scenarios whereby you don't have to do research. Maybe the research has been done, right? Or basically you don't have to do research because it is such that is actually something that is actually very common knowledge. But still, one very important thing is still not to talk to users, right? I think we'll also talk about user testing at the point usability testing when we are going through our next class. But first, right, I've told you how this flow looks like, right? As a designer, you have to think about the flow end to end. So it's cool to design just one design and say, okay, I'm designing a shot, I'm designing this thing. It's cool. But also, this is not a product. This is just a screen. This is not a product, it's actually a screen, right? So for you to be called a product designer, it's not like just designing one screen. It means that you'll be able to design a full end-to-end product, thinking about all edge cases, all use cases, right? All flows end to end, and then you are able to like articulate your design decisions. That's how you're able to call yourself a designer, right? Not just by designing one screen, right? So that's just trying to tell you that you need to be able to ensure that whatever you are doing, you are committed to it, because it's not just a one step thing. Now, if you look at this screen, this is what 440 screens, just to tell you how things can be. I'm sure I showed you a design where, okay, look at it. These are a lot of screens, and this is just one particular product. This on that one again, lots of screens. This is one single app, right? This is just one single app here. Where you are seeing multiple screens. So, this is not to scare you, but just to let you know that, oh, this is like the work you're signing up for, right? And it's an intense work, also rewarding, right? At the end of the day, but also to demand it's demand you to put full attention as regarding what you're doing. So let's just move on from there. So I've showed you OPA screen. So the assignment is pick one. That's the assignment I'm giving to you. Just pick one design, pick one application, like a common application that you are familiar with, right? Pick one, and then from there, just move on to designing something for it. Now, okay, let me check fintech, expense AI, go talk, specify, yellow card, crypto, send cash, Kishi, um, Clasher, ZPay, Send, Simpay, Get Equity, Ayowo, Teller, Paga, Money Points, that Money Points, right? Transfer Go, Trove, Tracker, Rise Vest, right? Flutter Wave, Fair Money, Cheaper Cash, Chaka, right? OPay, PiggyVest, Carrywise. These are popular as Bamboo, Bata, right? Gray, Paystack, Payday. These are the popular apps that you know. So once you can just do pick up these designs, pick up like you can just once you just come to any of them, I can come and copy the design from here. Now let me just show you what I'm trying to say. So if I copy, let me pick something else. Okay, let me just pick one of them. So if I copy this, I've copied it, right? Copying, copy the image. So I'll just come back here and just paste. It appears here your design. So it's very, very easy. So just copy and paste. Now you now replicate. Right? So pick a particular design, pick a particular mobile app that you like, right? Pick a particular mobile app that you like, then like a particular brand you like. It can be Carrywise, Piggyvest, anyone. Pick one and then design it. Now, when I'm saying design it, I mean, so one thing you can do, you may just design 5 screens, right? Pending the time you have our next class. Now design that. After designing that, then we will now we'll have our next class where we now do the interaction design for that. But first, let's just design this. So let me delete this and then let me come here to this one. So let me just move quickly. Now, so this is a design, right? So we can see that the background of this design is quite different. If you look at it, it's quite different. So what I'll just do, I want to copy the color of this background, right? I'll click on my eye, right? Or you can just simply just come to what do you call it? Yes, click on I. Or you can just come click on this field. So this field is talking about the color. So let me just explain this. Now, when you click on a particular element, anything on your canvas is an element. This is a canvas. This is a canvas. So anything on your canvas is a UI element. Now, when you click on a UI, when you click on any UI element, the corresponding properties will be at the right hand side. The corresponding properties will be at the right hand side. Now, this is talking about alignment. This position only works if it is inside a frame. Now, if I was to, so let's take for instance, if you look at this now, I selected this, you can see it is not highlighted, it is not active. But if I come and select something inside a frame, let's say I select this particular thing, right? You can see it's inside a frame, right? So if I press this, you can see it's center aligned. If I press up, it goes up. If I press down, it goes down. If I press left, it goes left. Just press Ctrl Z and go back. So that's just that. So if you click on any element you click on, has it shows the corresponding properties at the right hand side, and then this is the position of this particular element on the canvas, x and y. This is the rotation, right? If I say 90 degree, 90 degree, you get, and then you can always invert. So this is like inverting your designs. Like this is like basically like inverting the particular. So let's say I want to invert this one now. Invert this. Look at it. That's inverting this. Yeah, that's inverting. So that's that. Then this is talking about vertical. So let's take for instance, you're setting auto layout. We'll still come back to auto layout. Auto layout is one very important feature that gives structure to your designs. I'll probably be using it in my design as I'm going, right? So that's that. So these are auto layout structures. Then this is the size of your container, size of your element. This is the height, right? You can clip this to make sure that it's just proportional. But let me unclip it. Then you have this clip content. Now, clip content simply means that whatever you're typing, whatever is going to enter into this particular box, right, should not show, should just clip inside. Now, let me show what I'm trying to say. I type in something. You can see it is going out. But assuming I put in clip, you can see it has clipped it in. So this thing is now entered, more like a pocket that's now entered inside. But if I unclip it, this comes out. That's what clip is all about. So let's just clip it back. Now appearance is talking about, okay, this is 100%. If I put that 0, that's 0%. If I put that 20 at 10, you can see that's the opacity, right? So I put back at 100. I want it to be bright. Then this is the corners. I put it at 100. You can see the corners are rounded. You can also decide to make just one side, maybe 10. Then make the other side maybe 2. Right, but let me just go back to using 0. So I don't need them to be cornered. Now the fill. Now fill is talking about the color. I click on this fill. You can see I can change the color at will. Right, I can change the color. Right, I can change that color. But now what I want to do, I want to pick this particular color that is here. I'll click on this particular eyedropper. Click on it and click on just click on this particular element. You can see the color has changed. Now to change a color of an element, I will select the element first, then click on I, or click on come to this color here and click on this one. But I just prefer using shortcuts. So I'll click on I, right, and select the color. So first I've selected the item I want to change the color. I'll click on I to now pick from that any of the color. Like now pick a color that I like. Let's select this color and now click on this one. Color has changed. You can see it. So that's basically how that works. Now let me just go back and pick this color. Now pick this color, right? There's a background what do you call it, line here, right? I'm just going to leave that for now, but let me just work on the UI first. Now this is my typeface. Now when choosing typefaces, one thing you have to ensure is that you have very good what do you call it, very good weight options. What do I mean? Now there's some typefaces that are just thin, light, and bold. You have to ensure that whatever typeface you are picking has a lot of variations, such that you're able to do you're able to use hierarchy to like separate them and to put them in structure, right? That's what I mean. Now let me show you. There's an example of I think new machina. So look at this. You have just light, regular, and ultra bold. You can see that the disparity, the what do you call it now, the font weights are too close to each other, and therefore it's very difficult for you to have like a good hierarchy.
right, in your work, and it's very, very necessary. So when choosing typefaces, you have to ensure that there is a good hierarchy within your typefaces. Right now, look at this. Let's take for instance, I was supposed to use regular. This is regular, right, and this is light. You can see there's little or no difference between your regular and your light. There are two different font weights, but also they are too close to each other, and so you can hardly see any difference. Right, they are not good enough to be used as for hierarchy. Right, so let's scratch that. Now, one very important thing you need to also know is that when creating hierarchy, right, for items, for so when creating hierarchy for UI elements, there are two ways you can do that. Right, there are two ways you can do that. One, you take for instance for typeface, you can use the font weight, right? Sorry, there are three ways: the font weight, the font size. Now let's take for instance this is 24. You can make this what do you call it, 32. You can see this one has more um preference. This one has more visibility than this one, right? That is making this actually bold. You can see what they did here. They made it small and made this bigger, just to show, okay, what I'm more interested in is the amount. Forget people can actually always remember what this one is all about, but this one always change. So you want to make it more visible. Imagine you are now. Let's take for instance, um, let's see this M500 5000 500 Let's not take for instance someone did five this as 5,000. Now say, okay, this is account account balance. Imagine it doesn't make any sense because one, this account balance is always be account balance ever. Now putting what is not important than what is more important now shows like that the unseriousness in that. So what I'm just trying to let you know is that in every design decision that has been made, there's a reason going into it. You wonder, oh, why do they usually use a small card and they will put account balance on top and put their money big? They have there are reasons behind them, there are decisions that go into those things, and all these things basically is done by basically observing human and also by testing with customers. So that's why for you as a designer, your work is never done until your users certify that, oh, this thing makes sense. And even after that, there will still be issues that will still come up that will say, oh, right, this thing is not correct, this thing is that. We need this thing to happen like this, we need this thing to happen like this. So there will always be those things that will come up. Now, let's now just start our design as fast as possible. So here, let me use Clash Grotesque. So Clash Grotesque has varieties of typefaces. You have light, regular, medium, semi-bold, and bold. So I'm still good to go. Or I can use Nohemi. Look at Nohemi. Nohemi has more options. So let's say I use Nohemi. I'll use the light. Here, account balance. So now, one thing you need to know, right? While choosing your font sizes for your designs, you have to ensure and basically you learn, right? You learn based on continuous practice. Now, let's even say I'm even a first timer, right? I'll look at this typeface. This thing is small. Okay, let me try, let me try 18. Okay, what line height that is? Okay, let me use 18 times, where is it? 1.5. This 27. Okay, let me use 1.2. 18 times 1.2. So this is showing decimal. Make sure you round up decimal to whole number 22. Make sure you always round up decimal to whole number. Now this is account balance, but this is big. This looks big. This looks big. So also, yes, you also have what we call grids, right? Now for me, I'm not actually using grids because I'm already used to knowing what I need to do. But then you can draw your grids from here. Now, if you want to, now these are my grids. I can draw a grid from here, right? Now, for you, take for instance, if you want to make these grids appear, just come over to File, come over to View. Now you see rulers here, right? Just click on rulers. If I click on it, you can see that it disappeared. But let me go back there again. Rulers. So I'll just put it here. Now, for me, I usually make my because I usually make my margin right, to be 16 pixels. 16 mean that from here to here 16, from here to here 16, right? Some people use 24, some people use 32. Why? Who will go to sleep on that place? So I like to maximize my mobile window. So let's take for instance. So how will I check? How will I check if the size is correct? Now I'm just going to click on Control or Command. We're using a Mac. Click on it and select the mobile view. Then I'll now press Alt. You can see this 16, 17. Now let me show you let me mention what I did again. For you to be able to see the spacing. Spacing is one very, very key and important thing you need to pay attention to, right? Spacing between your elements. For me to be able to use spacing effectively, shortcuts, I use Alt or Option, right? Now I'm going to select this particular, I just click on it, or you can just come and click on the heading here, right? Click on it. So there are two ways you can select this particular thing, because you're just clicking normally, it won't work. Now you can click on the heading one, or hold down your command or control first, then click on it. It will select by itself. Now, because I want to see the spacing between this red line and the outer edge of this particular mobile view, I'll just click on Alt and then go over to the surface, also show me the what do you call it, the spacing. Now I'll now click on the red line and take it by 1. That's 16, right? Then I'll check again. It's now 16. That is it. Now I'll come to the second one again. I'll draw that line again to the other end. Check again. 17. Click on it. Take it 1 back. That's 1. Try and check again. That's 16. Now I've done my grids, right, for my left and right side. Now let's now move on. So you can see, and like I said, it's based on continuous practice. If you look at this person's grid now, you see that it is a 16 the person used as well. Look at how thin. Look at it. Can you see it? Look at how thin it is. Right? Going down, going down, going down. Yep. That's how it is. Now, so I'm not going to just call this a logo. Logo, right? Put logo here. Align it to the grid. That grid is very important. Checking for the spacing just to ensure that I'm on the right track. I'm going to use from here to the top, I'm going to use 32. Take it up, 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 up. Now it's very, very simple to do, right? Like I said, whatever you want to check, make sure you always select it first, right? Then use Alt to show you the distance, right? Very straightforward. Alt will show you the distance, right? Now from there, you just move on to now we've gotten the logo, right? Now the next thing is to get these items. Next thing is to get these items, right? Now we have a question mark here. We have this also here, rewards. Now let's pick up our icon. Now how do you get icons? Come over to this place. Now this is your toolbox. This is your toolbox. Click on this particular one, right, that I'm showing you here. Now you now see Iconify. You may not see it actually, but you have to search for it. Iconify, right? Iconify. When you click on Iconify, it brings up this particular modal where you now search for the icon you want. So let's say, so I'm seeing this question mark. This is probably an FAQ. So FAQ, this question mark. So let's just search for question mark. Question. So you can see options. Then I'll just drag one of them that I like. Drag it. Now I've dragged it. Right. Now, yeah, I've dragged it. But also here, if you look at this, one thing I also want you to know is that for icons, so there are a lot of things that go into this. For the icons, you'll find out that okay, I cannot change the font, so okay, let me explain what I'm trying to even say. Let me drag this one in. Okay, I see it. This one is now look at this. If I try to pick this, but rather if I try to enter into it, enter this one, I'll select it first. Then click on enter, enter. You can see that there's no way I can edit the width of this stroke. It is too thick. But if I pick on this one, so that here it's showing me 1. That means it's 1. I can change it to 4. It's 4. I can change it to 0.5. Now this is very useful in the case whereby you will need to make sure that all your icons are of the same font weight. Sorry, of the same weight. You don't want to go and picking one that is very big, then the other one is now small, right? You have to ensure there's consistency. That's what makes a UI actually comes up, right? There's consistency in the UI elements. There's consistency in the UI elements, right? Now, let's now pick this one. I'll pick this one because I prefer to be able to control what I want to work on. This size here is 24 pixels, right? Fine. I'll drag this into this. Now, if you look at this, there is a circle here, right? There's a circle here, meaning that there has to be a circle. I'm going to press on F on my keyboard to bring out a frame. Then I'll click on, I'll just draw a 24 pixel frame. Now I just drew a frame. It's not 24 pixel. I'll come here, this is 24. Go to the next one again, 24 as well, right? Now, if you look at this is a circle and it's white. Now, what I will come here to do, come here and add a fill, right? After adding a fill, then I'm going to now use I'm going to now what do you call it now? Round the corners. Now I'm rounding the corners, you can see it's changing. I'm just increasing it. You can see it's changing, right? So let me just use it as 100, like using my 100. Now I will now come and put this one inside here. But see, it is too big, right? One thing I can do 2 things: increase the outer circle, or increase or reduce this particular one, right? First, I can do both. But first, let's look at how this aligns. So if you look at this one is big, this is big. So let's increase the circle. Let's give it let's say. So now one thing also you should also put in mind is that you're always ensure that your UI elements are in multiples of 4 and 8 or 8, right? You find that I'm using 24, I'm using something. You can see that they are in, okay, this is 18. I need to change that, right? Now they need to be in multiples of 4 and 8, but there are times you break the rules. It's not something that you should always strict to. So now I use 18, so now I use 20, right? So you just need to just know what works at that point in time. That's basically after you've trained yourself. Now let's just move fast. So I'll just increase this size. So let's say 32. Let me see how it will work. Now one thing you need to also ensure, right, is that you need to ensure that whatever you are designing on mobile is tappable on screen. It is tappable because people are using their thumbs, right? You have to ensure that, okay, there's room for people to just tap. Not that I'm trying to tap one thing and then I'm touching something else. That's where you put that experience into play. So let's increase this to 48. 48 to do the trick. Then I'll now put this inside, right? This works perfectly. So if you want to compare with this one, see that, it looks close. Now one thing also, don't of course they are kind of they're going to be different because this is an image, right? But this is actually a real design. So don't look at it that, okay, this one is bigger than this, so I need to increase it more. No, right? Your design, if look at it, this particular frame and this one, that they're not the same, right? So you just need to just know, okay, what works, right? Now let's come back. Let's bring this here. This looks big, but should we change it? Let's leave it that way. Then next we have our rewards. Let's come and search again. Come to our Iconify, search for rewards. Rewards. Well, now this is reward, right? I'm not seeing anything that resembles. Okay, this one resembles it. But if you look at this looks like what? like a gift or like a present, or what do they call it? Let's try now, start to say. So sometimes what you are looking at it may not actually be the thing. You have to like use your intuition to say, okay, what could this particular icon be have been named as, right? You have to try to find out. So let's try to use present. So you can see present is bringing out options already. Let's pick one. So if you look at this, this is not actually, it doesn't have a place for me to be able to edit the size of the width of the stroke. Let me try this one. The same thing. So let me not waste much time. I would have said I should just look for it, but let me just waste more time. Let me just move on to picking it. So I think this one works for well, right? Because yes, it is thinner compared to this. So let me just change this to, yeah. So let me bring this in as well. Now we have rewards in a button. So now for buttons, right? Like I said, so based on they're based on constant practice and based on experience, my buttons for mobile will be 48. So that means I'm having the buttons. So I'll draw the button from here. Just draw this, right? Then I'll just increase this to 48. Now it is based on experience, and that's why I said constant practice. With constant practice, you'll be able to learn all these things. Now, my buttons normally is 48, but look at this. This is rewards. This is a small button. I'll just have to just reduce it. Put this inside here. Drag it inside. Doesn't just drag it inside. Just drag it inside. Then I'll now bring a text too. Now, if I want to duplicate, I'll just press on Alt on my keyboard and drag. Right? Go back again. I'll go to that particular element. Press on Alt. After I've clicked on it, I press on Alt and drag. Now enter rewards. Is it rewards or rewards? Yeah, rewards. Then put it inside here too. Now I've put it inside here. I need to join these two together to make it look like one. I'll click on the first one, click on the second one, and press and do auto layout. Right, just put them together. Auto layout is simply like a feature that arranges your elements together. Right, now use 8, but then this reward is 18 is too big. Let me change it to 14. Then I'll use 14 times 1.2 is 16. I'll change it to 17 approximate 17. Now this is here, right? Now from here I just need to just bring this closer. So here I'll pick a left hand side. Okay, let me use 16 from the left hand side, then do another 16 again. So automatically just show me 16. Now this ought to be rounded, corners ought to be rounded. I'm going to just change the corners to 100 straight up. 100 should round the corners for me. Then put this at the center. Now I want to use this particular navigation I mentioned. This is aligning to the center, then vertical center. Then I'll now bring that here. So if you put this one, push this one forward, you can see it's coming together. Push this here, right? Then bring this one close. Now what spacing should I put between these two? Now that's also one very important thing, because I'm using my thumb, right? If you look at your phones, everybody look at your phones, you see that, oh, you can see that most of the elements on your phones are kind of spaced, right? So that you can be able to tap on something and you don't have to be tapping on something you don't want to tap. Now you open your WhatsApp, you find out that there's a gap between your calls, right? Between your chats, between your settings, there's a gap between your status, there's a gap there, right? Ensuring that, oh, you don't just make a mistake of tapping on something else. Now that space has to be there. So for my space, I'm going to just use 24 pixels. So there's a difference. 24 pixels, there's a gap there. Now we've done this. Before I move on to this star, let me just try to just wrap up. So here, let's pick a color. For this particular is black. So I'll just press on I on my keyboard. Click on this, pick the color. Now click on the element inside and change them to white. White is F. So you can see it's coming together, right? It's coming together. Now Next is for us to Linda's balance. Yes, let's do Linda's balance. Linda's card balance. Right now, this still looks a little bit too big for me. This typeface, this font still looks a little bit big. Let me reduce it to 14, 17. Yes, I've used 17 before. So now take this a little bit down. Now I'm using 14 because for me 14 has been most comfortable working with, right? In terms of like the default size, 14 works, 14, 12, 16, 18, they all work. You just need to know where to use what, right? Now so here also I need to pick a color. So let me just draw this rectangle shortly. Okay, it's a card. So let me just draw the card. Let's draw the card. Maybe for the card, I'll just come and use. Let's use. So you can see it's the card. So that means that this side is longer than this side. So let's use a size of 24 for the width. No, 24 is 2. Let's use 32. 32, and let's use 24 for the height. So that means I'll just come here, press I on my keyboard, and click on this. You can see it changes color, right? And it's rounded. So let me just put the roundest. Let me increase the roundest small. I think this is okay. I think 4 is okay. Then bring that here, right? Then there you can see there is a small something here, white something here, right? I just draw a rectangle, right? This rectangle here. Let's draw a rectangle. Draw a small rectangle. Change this to 4 so it can be smaller. Then maybe use this as 2. Just bring that here and drag it inside. Then change the color. Change the color to white. Right, it's looking like what we have here. Right, for here they are using their logo and embedding their logo inside, embossing their logo inside the image. Right, so let me just see. I'll just drag this to. Now for this one, you can see that here there's no color. You have to look at it, right? Okay, I think it's here too. There's no color. So what they simply did was just try to emboss it, not emboss in actual sense, but they just added. So let's just look at that. Move the color. We just use the same color here, same color. Then try to add effects to it. Let me just use this size to let's say 16. Let's just finish the all this thing. When we're done, we'll come back here so that we'll not waste time. I want to just finish this thing. Then let's pick the chevron icon. Let's move very fast. So for chevron icon, for icons I mentioned, just come here, iconify again. So yes, it's called chevron. So some people will say it's drop down, right? But it's called chevron, right? Chevron, not the chevron oil. Chevron. So you just drag this here, right? Yes, drag this here, and this is too big. Sorry, this is too big. Once it's too big like this, so I want to reduce it. So let's take it to let's always make sure that your icons are in the right proportion. Now, for me, this is 25, 24. I will disable that and make it 24 as well. Right, then go back again. Now let's reduce to 16. Let's make it smaller. Then this is inverted, right? Let's invert it. So that will be 180 inversion, right? Or you can just use this inversion here. You can see. So that's it. Now that is there. So it's coming together. I'll try to align these two together. So to align two elements together, I'll click on the first element, first element, second element, and come here and align it from here. Right, what is the distance between them? 5. I'll use 8. Then this one to align it to ensure they are all aligned. Right, all right, now let's move. So let me just group them together. I'll use my auto layout, Shift A, right? I'll use my Shift A, Click on Shift A, then put this at the center. It's at the center now. Now let's pick an amount. So an amount, how many dollars? 521,098.31. Right. Now increase this. Let's say I should use a font size of 24. 24 is my highest. 24 is still small compared to what I'm seeing here. Let's take it to 32. 32 is manageable. Now 32 times 1.2, that's 38.4. That's 38. Let's do what 38. Now here you can see that the font weight is different. Let's increase the font weight. Take it to semi bold. Our time is fast spent. Semi bold. Then put it in the center. Then try to centralize it here. Now put this together. Group them together. You can see. Then press Shift A, which is auto layout. Now center. You can see it's 24. Let's use 16. 16 is okay. Let's try 8. 8 is too close. Let's try 12. Yes, 12 looks fine. 12 looks fine. Now let's move on. Now, next we have money hold $2,500. Right, that is another on that shape. Now, one thing that you can do as a designer is that you can always reuse components. Try to reuse components. Now, I already have this is a shape here, but I already have a shape like this. I'll just pick this shape here. I'll hold my Alt or my Option and drag. Right, increase this a little bit. I know that it's quite different. Click on money. So first I'll dismember and I'll dismember this. Come here and dismember it, or press Command Shift A or Control Shift A. Those are like shortcuts. So I can remove the auto layout from here. Right. Now click on this, delete this. Just click on money hold 2,500. Put this at the center. Right, put at the center. Drag this here, then put this at the center. Check the spacing between these two. Let's use 24. 24 and this is not close. And sometimes if your intuition tells you to do something else, you can do something else as long as it doesn't. For my intuition is telling me to use 16. Let me just use 16. 16 works. So I'll change the color of this. I'll just come here. I'll press I on my keyboard. Pick the color from here. I pick the color. Now this particular color is quite different. I will just select this whole thing. Now try to select this money hold because that is the color is different. Come to this one and click on this and try to pick the color. So pick the color. Come to this one again too. Press on this. Come back here to click on the color. Yes. Now one thing that we not really touch on this class is the fact that when you're probably working on a new project, you need to create your style guide or create your design system depending on the scope of what you're trying to work on. So design system is basically talking about a consistent guideline that guides your design of a company, of a corporation, of a product, right? So what that simply means that that particular design system guides the overall direction. So let's take for instance, you are all 5 designers working on a particular product, but because you guys have a design system, that design system will guide you on, okay, these are the input fields you should use, okay, these are the buttons you should use. You'll not be saying, okay, no, let's use size 40, let's use size 20. No, the design system already has a guideline of, okay, the button sizes should be this, the font size should be this, the font weight should be this. There's already a laid down guide, right? In terms of color, right? In terms of components, right? Your calendar components, right? The input fields, the buttons, right? Different things. Okay, when I press this button, what happens? When I click this button, what happens? Like all those things are laid down in design systems, right? So design system basically guide you on how you have to make your designs. Now next we have send and receive. Send and receive, right? Send and receive. Okay. So here is it. They send. I'm just change this to send. Send. Put this at the center. Let me create one for receive too. First, receive. Now we have send and receive. Now for the arrows. Come here again. Come to Iconify. Pick. Let's search for arrows. Search for arrow. To show you upward arrow, downward arrow. Just need to just search for the one that fits, line of best fits. So where is it? 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 Where is that arrow? Where is that arrow? Let's just search for side left arrow. Maybe that will work. Left arrow. So you have to be able to here. You have left arrow here. So I'm left arrow works. Drag that. Then use right arrow. Right arrow. Right arrow 2 should work. Yes. So let's drag something into. Cancel this. Now bring the arrows inside. Bring the arrow inside. Bring this one to inside. Right. Bring this one to inside. Now these are black. The background is white. So let's do. And now if you look at this, the background is not just white. There's also some shadows at the bottom too. Make it smooth. So let's make it white. Click on both of them. Come to their fill. Make it white. So that white is basically coming here. Just drag this to the top. That's white. Now let's add some effects to that. So I'm going to make this be a 10 and then use the blur spread be a 2. And this is a 0 for the spread. 0. Then for the y, you know what y-axis is? Y-axis, left axis, so that's so left. If you are doing if it's a x, let's take for instance, let me just show you. -4 will take you to the left, to the top left. If you are doing 4 will take you to the other side, right? If you are doing y will take you, that's -4 will take you up, and 4 will take you down. That's the movement of the shadow. But I don't want the shadow to move. I just use 0 and I use 0. Now let me increase this blur so that it's not look too somehow. Let's say we're using blur of 10, right? So using blur of 10. Let me still change this to 5 just to make it neater. So let's drag this so you can see this is here. Put this to 16. Put this to 16. And this is send. Sorry. Yes, downwards. Oh, I think I swapped them. Put this here. Bring this other one here. Put this other one here. Then let it go down. 90. Yes. Click on this. Auto layout that arranges it. Put it in the center. Give it spacing of 8. Then put it at the center. Right. Then this one too. Right. Spacing of 8. Put at the center. You have this. Take them up. Look at it. Okay, let's give it a speed of 24. Let's look at this one. Right. So I'm just doing this so that I'm just doing this just like as a newbie. That is just so that you can understand, okay, why some things are like that. Now, if you look at the spacing between these ones, okay, let's use 24. Or should we use 32? 32 works. Next, let's move on to this particular banner. Let's draw the banner real quick. We may stop at the banner. I want to stop by 10:30 so that we can actually be able to ask our questions. But let me just try to move very fast now.
So after drawing the banner, I can see the banner is big, but let me try to use 100. Now for that 100, I'll click on my eye to take my eyedropper, click on it, and then that's giving me the color. I'm going to increase the what do you call it? The rounded corners. Let's say I'll give it a rounded corner of 20. Right, it's 20 is there. Okay, let's say 16. Yeah, 16 is fine. Then let's now start adding this particular text. Send money tax free. I'll come and drag a text. The color has to be white. I'll give it a white. White is FFF. Then start sending money tax free. Right. I'll hold on Alt or Option, drag this particular text again, then type the lower text. You can see that there's hierarchy here. This is the first one, it's bolder. The second one is just gray, right? The best place for freelancers to receive and send money. Let's type the best place rather. The best place for freelancers to receive and send money. Let's try to, so this has gone outside. Let's try to just come here and just drag it to send money, then start saving now. Now if you look at this is two text, two lines. I look at it, the same state. Let's try to increase this a little bit. Let's use 1.5 instead. Now these are the things that guide your decisions as regarding, okay, which one should I use? Should I multiply by 1.2 or 1.5? Then I'll do times 1.5. There's a times on your keyboard, right? So you should be able to, you can see that now there's spacing, right? There's spacing there. Now let's next. So I'd rather use 12. Now I told you that for creating hierarchy, you can use color, you can also use size. Now I'm going to use that here. Now for this one, this is 14, but I also want to use, instead of light, sorry, I want to use regular. Okay, let me use medium. Okay, let's use regular. Then for this one, I want to reduce the color, right? It is, let me take this to 12 and use 12 times 1.2 is 14. I'll use 14. No, 14 is too small. Let's use 1. That's 12 times 1.5. That's 18. So now here I'm going to change this color. So let's come here. So there are different colors. I can just pick this color here. Click on eye and pick the color. Because I've picked the color already. Then I'll just bring this here. Try to align them. Right. Now the spacing here is 18. Let me take it left. Let me use 16. Then I'm going to put going to group them together. That's using Shift A. That's auto layout. I'm going to use an 8 distance, right? Put this at the center too of the frame. You can see I have this already. Easy peasy. Now the next thing is, how do I get this particular $sign here? All right, so there's another way also of getting assets. You want to get some assets, you can just simply just come to Pinterest. Pinterest is also one very, very good source of inspiration, right? So Pinterest, you can search for 3D dollar. Say 3D dollar. Now this is a dollar, although it's not white, but I think I can still manage this. It's not white, but let me manage it. I'll just copy. You can copy, then come here, come and paste. Now I can't copy it like this. What will I do? Some of you should already know what I want to do. I want to remove the background. I'll just come here. I'll just right click on it. Right click on your mouse on the item, come to plugins, search for remove background, and then run. Now if you've not set your API key for remove background, it won't work. So you might need to set your API key first before it works. Now to set your API key, you just need to just come over to remove.bg, right? Once you do that, you can log in. Let me see if I can log in first. I need to enter this information again. So you should be able to log in. Now when you log in, you're able to get your APIs, right? Your API key, which you will now later bring and come to set up. So let me come back here, plugin. You now come here to say you want to set it up, set the API key here. It will just remove, it will just bring it up here where you can enter your API key. But I already have mine saved already. So I'll just click on this, plugin, move background, run. So yes, it has removed my background for me. Now this particular thing is too big. I'll just hit Control or Command on my keyboard, drag, stop, again, hold it again, drag, stop, hold it again, drag, stop, then hold it again, drag, stop. Now I want to scale this thing down. It's too big, right? What will I do? I'll come here to look for something that can help me reduce it, the size, which is the scale tool. I saw it somewhere here. Yes, so it's supposed to be here. This is the scale tool. Click on K scale tool. Come here, drag it down, down. So let's drag it inside here. Is it too small? I think it's too small. Let's increase it a little bit. Yes, I think it's better now. Let's drag it to ensure that okay, um it is up to 24. Now look at this. This is the decimal here. How do you deal with the decimal? Just come here, change it to 265. 265. Chicken now. That's changed. Now click on V. So to go back, just come back here. To if you just on scale, to leave that scale mode, right? Just come back here again. Click on move. Now this thing is too close to each other. What I will do, click on this, try to drag it. So you can see there's now space. There's now space. Drag this here. Now that's good. We are getting somewhere. So yeah. Now before I just let me just rush through this particular one. This should be simple, but let me just rush through it because I think it's somehow technical in a way. Not technical, but so that you guys can just know how it works. Now I'll draw on that what do you call it, on that rectangle again with my frame. I'm using frame. Then this is white. I'll click on I and click on this. Now something I want to mention. Okay, let me just add this particular um what do you call it, rounded corners first. Right. Now there's something you can do. Now there's sometimes that you might not need to use shadows. What you can just use can just what you just need might just even be a stroke. Now what do I mean? For this particular two buttons that are here, you can start to say, okay, I don't want to use this, I don't want to use a I don't want to use a shadow, I want to use a stroke. Now stroke handles it beautifully well as well. Now I'll click on these two and just show you real quick. Then just add a stroke. Let me hide the drop shadow. Now for this stroke, it is black, but I can reduce. I can use a better stroke color. Now what do I mean? I'll look for. Let me come here and try to get a better color. So if you look at this, you find out that the color is actually like you can see how neat it is without the shadow. It's very neat. There's a stroke here, but you can see it is blending well with the background, right? So yes, you can also use stroke. You can use stroke in place of when you want to use shadows. Let me just run this real quick. So the spacing here is 24. What is spacing here? 35. No, spacing should be. So put this together. What is the spacing here? 32. What is spacing here? 35. Let's take this up. Let's take this. Let's use 24 for this one. Trying to follow what is here. This is 24 for that one. Then here, let's use 32. Of course, it's 24 here. Now, so that's just to show that they're together. Now, let's come here. We have send again. Come here, drag this. Send again. Put it here. Let's use it will 16. So this will be 16 or 24, 16. Yes, so 16.
16 too. This is bold. Let's make it bold. So let's use a medium. Then you have different images, right? I'll click on F on my keyboard, draw a frame. Let the frame be 48, 48. Put it here. Give it a color so that I can know it. Give it a color and then give it 100 round corners, 100 pixel round corner. Then what's the spacing between these? Okay, let's use 16. Okay, now these are different what do you call it, shapes. First, let me even give them their names underneath. So let's give them their names underneath. Change this to a red light. Use stuff using 14. Let's use 12. Then let's use 17. Sorry, not 14. Let's use 14. Now, S Rijal. Next, let's use Farina C. Let's use Dafati. Now I'm just going to just be rotating this thing because there's no have enough time. Now here, I'll select this particular circle, put this in the center for both of them, centralize both of them, and then click on Control A, right, to add auto layout to it, right? So, yep. Now after doing that, I just pick an image from here. But first, let me just add all the let me add them here first. So I'm going to use Alt and Shift to drag this out. I'm holding Alt and Shift and dragging this. Let me give this 16. Put them in auto layouts. Then start pressing Control D to just duplicate them around. Then change the name of this one to this. Change the name of this one to this. So yeah, you can change the other text if you wish to. Then something else, if you look at it, this particular stuff. So let's drag out a particular shape, but now let's reduce it to that should be about 24 pixels or thereabout 24. Yes, that's small. Then let's give it a white stroke. There's a white stroke here. I see the white stroke. Give it a white stroke. White stroke. Let's say the white stroke is around 2. Right. Put it here. So let me dismember this. So this is how it looks like. Right. So now let's start adding different images to it. So let's just pick an image. So you come here. So no, let's come to plugins again. Let's search for content reel. Content reel. From content reel, you get different images. You get addresses, phone numbers that you can use for your work. Now now what I'll just do here, I'll select the different circles that I want to put images in so that it can just randomize the images. And then I just click on you can see it randomizes the images for me. Very easy peasy. I don't have to start entering them one by one. Now left, what is left now is that just adding this particular thing. So I'll just find PayPal. Let me see if I can get PayPal from my Iconify. Let's get PayPal. PayPal, you can see the color. I'm not getting what I want. Okay, let me just search for. I'll just find something else. Maybe I'll use Flutterwave. So there's something we call there's also a plugin called Nigerian Logos, where you can pick up logos from different Nigerian companies, Nigerian brands. Let's do Flutterwave. What I was looking for. I'm looking for something that it's more feeling. Okay, let's do FCMB. FCMB, very big, right? But let's reduce it. Click on K on my keyboard, reduce the size, draw this inside here, reduce the size, keep on reducing the size. I'm going to the size of 24. Yes, I'm there. I'll drag this in. Now, for me to be able to drag this in, right, and nest down, I was holding control, right? After clicking on it and holding, I'm just dragging, I'm just pressing control. Now I'm going to put it inside here, right? So you can see this is it. So I'm going to just copy this also. Um, oh, sorry. So probably put this here. Now I want to copy this. So instead, it's not inside. So let's just drag this. Control D. Take this up. You have this. You have this. You have this. Figma is very smart. It auto arranges for you. Yeah, and there you have it. So that's just it. I think we are already behind schedule today, so I think we'll just stop here for today. But from here on, I think it's very very easy. You just need to just get your shape, put this in, put this at the top, put this at the bottom, align, get this, and then you just move from there. Yeah, so I think that's all for tonight. Do you have any questions so that we can take questions? And yep, any question? Maka, can you hear me? Hello, Amaka.
Hi, John. I can hear you. There are no
Okay,
questions in the chat.
okay. Does anybody have any question? You can drop it in the chat.
You said?
No, no, no. I was saying if they have questions, they can drop it in the chat.
I don't know why I'm not hearing you clearly. Sorry, please. Can you go over that again?
Yeah, I said if I was asking if they had questions, they could drop it in the chat.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I think there's this question here. It says, the guidelines or design systems for, are they the specific to a project or is it the rule for all design projects?
Sorry, come again.
So the guidelines or design system for, are they, I think this is a mistake, are they specific to a project or is there
Oh,
a
okay.
rule for all design projects?
Okay, I get that question. So design system basically is talking about is addresses a particular product or project, right? It's not compulsory. Like you don't have it's not for multiple projects. Design systems are unique to each project. So just take for instance, the project for CarryWise and the project for OP are two different things. Of course, they can have the same design system, right? So design systems are unique to each project. It's only when probably it's a project within the same company. So maybe maybe you guys have multiple products. You have multiple products you are working on, right? You can have the same design system for each of them, right? That can work. But then for different projects that are entirely different, you don't have to have it. You can basically adapt. Maybe you have created one, just decide to just adapt it to the other one. Maybe like changing some things and all that. Yes, it's fine. But saying you should use the same thing for everything, there's no point in doing that. I don't know if that was able to answer that question. Desire. But yes, that's just the idea. So you don't have to use the same the same design system for all the projects. What's just need to do when you're done with a particular project, right? I want to use, you need another design system. Just need to just adapt that previous design system to fit the current one you're working on. Except if it's within the same company whereby you guys are having multiple products and is in the same even at that you still have to just change it because those products basically will be used for have different functions. So yeah, but still, you can use that. Just adapt. You can basically adapt the design system that you have previously to fit the one that you want to that you're currently working on. Yep.
So there's another question. Do we need to change the color in the icon before putting them in the picture?
No,
Before
no, no, it's not
putting a picture
necessary.
rather.
No, 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 it's not necessary. So I did that just so that we can be able to see um what we are doing. So if I didn't put a color, I could have missed. I might not have seen that particular frame I created, right? So I wanted to be able to see that particular frame so that I can be able to. That's why I colored it yellow, right? If I didn't color it, it's just white. But then I will not know like what is the where that particular circle is. So I just use that color just to be able to know where that circle is so that I can basically put the image into it. Right? But for you, you don't have to. If you already have the image already, right? So I think I should have shown something as well. Um Hold on. I think I should have shown something as well. So take for instance, if you want to share, if you want to pick an image, right? What you just need to do, okay, let's take for instance, let's say I want to create a frame now. I create a frame, but now I can't see anything here, right? It is empty. Now if I click out, I don't know where this thing is except I'm hovering close to it and I'm saying okay, this is where it is, right? But I can't see anything, right? Also, if you drag it outside, it's not showing anything. There's no color, no feel, right? But what I wanted to do here was okay, just color it so that I'll be able to know. Because I color it white, I'm able to know okay if that this is something that exists. Now, take for instance, I even decided not to even do that. But yes, I can create an image directly from here. Click on upload from my computer, upload the image, and it gets uploaded here automatically. So that's basically how that works. So it's not compulsory you do that.
So
Okay. Yeah.
this question is saying, is it okay to bring in new ideas even when there's a regular pattern for designing a particular app or website?
Good question. So there's something they call reinventing the wheel, right? Now, it's good to have good ideas, have innovative ideas, but also ensure that your new ideas does not stress the user. Don't stress me as a user. Don't stress me, please. That's a very important thing to consider. Except if your new ideas you are bringing is going to improve the experience in terms of making sure that users do not have any issue trying to go through a particular process, then it's fine, right? There are new ways of doing things today where in the previous times they will say okay, before you can do this, you can do this, you do this, right? But now people are changing things, right, bringing more innovation, but they're also ensuring that that innovation is also very smooth, such a way that it does not break the experience of the user, right? They're okay making sure that that is happening today. So if you look at OP today, right, now OP normally, right, most applications will not ask you to provide, like most applications when you're transferring a very large amount, they will not just pop up in your face and say, hey, you're transferring something very large, right? But OP found a way to bring it in just softly that okay, oh, notification, large amount detected. That was not that if you check your normal mobile applications, that is not there today. But they found a way to bring that innovation into it such that it doesn't obstruct, doesn't even stop you. It even gets to a point where they'll say, okay, no, you can't transfer this money out. You have to do a face check first. They still brought that in seamlessly such that you are still able to still continue and still able to go through the process, right? So yeah, that's just it. So it's okay to bring in new ideas, but also ensure those new ideas do not actually affect the current experience. And yes, it's also very good to innovate, right? But also not reinvent the wheel, right? People have done something before that is working. Don't bring in something that will not make it better, but instead will actually like spoil things. It's best to just like work with what we currently have. Or if you innovate and you bring up to something that works, that makes sense, then fine. Yeah. So that's the answer to that question.
All right. I think that's the last question here.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you so much, John, for coming on this class. I know we're
Yeah.
going to see you next week. So thank you so
Yeah.
much. Now, guys, you have this video is on YouTube. You can go back and rewatch it and have your questions. If you have questions, you can ask. The link to John's profile will be dropped on the Discord channel, so you can follow him as well. So I think that will be all for now. See you in your next class. Thank you so much, John.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Amaka.
All right.
Yeah. Bye.
So bye, everyone. Have a
Bye.
lovely night, morning, or afternoon. Bye, guys.